item on the agenda is amendment to administration pension plan, drop plan, which is section 4 of the plan. This is what the discussion was around, currently it's upon 25 years of service, the administrator has 90 days to decide whether they want to effectively retire, collect their pension, and currently work for another 3 years, as was the case to Manager Santry. There was a proposal, I believe, first it was a year and make it 5 years. Then there was another discussion regarding 6 months and 4 years. So what do we want to do?
And
The reasoning behind it.
right, we agreed to 6 months to extend, so he has a June 2013 decision.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we talked about last time, but then we
We didn't have an agenda posted.
the meeting minutes, okay. And then we talked about adding years at the end, but did we do that? I just have a question mark as far as adding years on how long it
We
takes
discussed
to
it
work
going
out.
up to 4.
But we left it at 3, or did we?
We moved it to 4.
We did, so we did the 6 months out for him to make his decision,
Correct.
which was supposed to be December 13th, right? And then we added a year for his workout,
Right.
right? And that was a compromise.
Mhm.
I think that there was a question about even going longer
There
than.
was a question.
May we commissioners ask any questions?
No,
Why not?
this is the police pension committee meeting.
Yeah, except that the police commission was never consulted on going from 3 to 4. And where other boards and commissions may not have their own bylaws and rules, the police commission does.
Well, from what I understand after talking to the town attorney and labor council, the police pension committee works separate from all boards.
But the police commission shall always act as one body, not as an individual, and that the chairman represents us on our behalf. So what he should have done was, we were happy with the 6 months, okay?
Okay.
But we were never consulted on extending 3 years to 4 years. And what we are not happy with is that the chairman should have come back, said to you folks, if that part is being discussed now, I have to go back to my commission and see what the consensus is there. And that was never done, because we have bylaws.
I understand.
You may not have known that we have bylaws.
I know you have bylaws.
Okay, in which case,
But it doesn't-
you're not bound by them, and Brad's not bound by them, but Ed is bound by them. And so he had a responsibility to come back to the police commission to see how we felt about extending.
Well, that's between you guys and Ed. This is a pension committee business. It's between
I
you guys and
understand
Ed.
that, except he is the one who made the motion in your minutes of the meeting where there was no agenda
Right.
posted, which is why you have to have this meeting
Correct.
again. He is the one who actually made the
Well, we'll
motion.
go into, let's get a motion and we'll discuss.
Can I just make a couple
Quick,
of
go ahead.
comments? I just want you to kind of just know how this all happened. Number one, I wasn't on the police commission when this amendment to the plan with the 3 years and the 90 days was constructed. So when I first started to hear about it, I couldn't comprehend the thing, frankly. And I think this was pretty much constructed by you guys and the last chairman of the police commission. So I don't think the other commissioners were involved in it. They may have known about it, but weren't really involved in it. So I think when this came up again, there was a lot of discussion.
And this went on, well, I'll tell you, this discussion regarding this went on for several years. It wasn't done in 3 minutes.
I mean, the lawyer was here
We
2 or
had-
3 times,
We had different plans from different towns.
different
We
language.
had to have actuarials done to show how it actually saves the town money.
Very thorough.
Right, oh yeah.
Right,
Oh,
well,
okay.
I was on the commission, that's why I remember, because I had all that correspondence
Yeah, we had,
with Rosemary.
Hooker and Holcomb did actuarials on it, and
I mean, you know the pension plan is,
Rich.
it's rich. It is
And-
rich, you know, I mean, and we
at-
also spend a
At
lot
the
of.
time, John Santry was in favor of it, but Joe Fonan and Todd were opposed to it.
Well, here's
That all changed.
That changed.
Well,
the
yeah.
thing. When this all came up again,
Do you think this would have happened if Joe Fonan wasn't in favor of it in the end?
In the end, he was in favor, because he was able to take part in it.
They were here at every meeting. You
Yeah.
weren't you at any
I
of
was,
those meetings?
I was at the meetings,
Yeah.
and I remember when it was first proposed at a Board of Selectmen's meeting, because Rosemary and I had all this.
Oh, and there we
correspondence.
went berserk,
Yeah,
And then we had nasty grams in the newspaper about it, and then
Look,
it took a long time to sit down and hash through everything.
in the short term, we're looking at, a pension obligation just to keep it at a level point of almost $1 million a
We
year.
were 858,000 last year was our arc, and we'll probably be over 900 this year.
well, but the
What's that mean?
Ain't a required contribution, which is
interesting,
part of the
and one of the
budget,
things I
to
raised
fund
are,
it,
when,
To get it up to where it should be?
keep it where it
So
should
we're
be.
kind of behind.
We're a little bit behind, but we're good, we're good.
But we used to be more behind.
Yes,
yeah, when
Yeah.
When Todd first came to us and he asked to have it extended to 2 years, because he came to us, he didn't come to you.
no.
And we said, 2 years is too long. And one of the things I raised was, it's not that suddenly you wake up in the morning and say, gee, I've served 25 years, now I've got 90 days to make a decision. You know when your 25th year is coming up. You have time to make plans.
To the point of going to 60 days instead of a year. That's why we want to
Well,
reduce
you mean 6 months. So
Yeah,
we were willing
it's
to
6 months, okay.
compromise and say 6 months.
6
But he
months,
never asked about this other aspect of it. And that's the part that upset the commission, was that we were never consulted on how we felt about this other aspect of going from 3 years to 4
Well,
years. We were
some of
willing
the-
to go to 6 months and 3 years.
Some of the discussion was regarding, and it came from, some of the stuff the police commission talks about, was continuity. The fact that the administrators, all of them are relatively new. Are any of them really ready to step in as the chief at this point? If in fact, in 3 years, Todd left? I don't know.
But we can,
Not
always,
yet.
but
I
you
would
can
say
always,
not yet.
but you can always, if
You
you're
can,
looking for a
you
chief,
can always
you
go
can always go from the
outside,
outside.
but that's been something that the department has, been trying to promote from within.
Well, it's very dangerous to do something based on current personnel, because that's
Well, I
like,
understand.
that's like make an amendment to the
I had that
Constitution
discussion
based
with-
on current uproar over
I had
some
that
issue,
discussion
like
with
school
Labor
busing
Council,
was 20
because-
years ago.
The labor council regarding, because Major Santry had to retire under the current document, the way it's written. And then if we go and change it, are we gonna be opening ourselves up for him to come back and litigate against this? And he
No,
said,
And that's a problem. But Gabe said no,
Dave
right?
said no.
He said no.
No, the way things stand now, we wouldn't want the chief to leave. I mean, that would cause a whole raft of problems,
But he also,
including more
but
expense.
he also has a choice not to opt
Most
into the
likely.
plan.
Yeah.
In which case, he could stay 19 years.
We understand, I know.
The way Joe Fawden did. It's not like they're required to go into this plan.
Why this drop plan, as they call it, works, is because if they choose it, their accrual is frozen. The town doesn't contribute for them anymore
Well,
at
no,
that
we
point.
know that.
And they don't, you're not gonna get to that magic 75% number when you retire. You're gonna be capped at where you are when you make that
Our
choice.
concern at this point was the fact that we had agreed to, as a commission, to let it go to 6 months from 90 days, even though we felt that he had years leading up to knowing it was his 25th year. So we thought 2 years was way too long. Why should he have 2 years to make the decision? But we were never consulted on,
We never made that decision that 2 years was too long.
yes, we
Nah,
did.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
was here,
we-
right?
Well, I think we had a vote, but
We
it wasn't
did, we did,
unanimous.
we did that.
Probably had a vote, but.
I don't recall that.
Here's-
That's all I'm
Well, but we
saying.
did.
Here's the thing,
6 months,
we couldn't wrap our head around this thing, and we didn't understand that there were some savings involved, and, so then when it came back with we had a lot of discussion about, Jesus, why should we even have this, and is there any way to get rid of it and all that, and then when it came back with 4 years, it was like, we felt blindsided, so that's what the upset was.
Yeah.
For that vote, yes.
Yeah.
Remember, we had the two majors leave.
I mean, since
Not
then,
Chapman, but.
Do you guys, fighting about letting him have some job security for an extra year, doesn't that cause any rifts between your commission and the chief?
possible.
But you know
There's no
what?
doubt.
He's got to accept that. It's, our contention is.
Yeah,
that
but
our-
we're not making these decisions in a vacuum, Patty.
No,
We're
I
making
understand
these
that,
decisions
Brad.
based upon
But Ed
what
could've-
the
Ed
outset
could've- all
is.
Ed had
And
to
with all
say
due
was-
respect, the police commission hasn't really acquitted itself as a strong policy-setting body for the police organization. The people who are running the police department are the chief and the two majors, not the police commission.
We're trying to change things.
I know, but the idea is why?
Hence our strategic plan.
Right, but doing it through the pension and holding the chief hostage doesn't seem
Well-
to me to
No,
be
but-
a smart.
He only asked for
But the
3.
way you're missing, you're.
The chief?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't
Chief
have-
asked for as much time as he could
Well, he
get.
only ever told us
But he-
about
Take it 10.
He'd prefer not to have it and be able to accrue for as long as possible.
Yeah, but our contention was, our problem was, you know, aside from the fact that you had to have the meeting over again because you didn't have the agenda, is that we just felt that Ed had a responsibility, and especially due to the fact that our commission has bylaws and rules and regulations, that he'd say to you folks, I have no problem with the first part of the first.
6 months.
No, before that, you had the one with the 20, if a major was.
Yeah, well, that's part of this too,
That's right.
which
But
is a
that-
no-brainer to me, that's.
That's
all
right, but that was something that we
Yeah.
came up with as a
No,
commission.
I don't feel that, and then we had that,
As a commission, we came up with that.
that was costed out and that was cost neutral,
Right,
so that was,
okay,
it's a
fine.
no-brainer.
So we had no problem with that, and we had no problem with the 6 months. It was that we felt, as a commission, that Ed should have said, look, we've never discussed extending it from 3 to 4 years if the 90 days got extended. I really need to go back to my commission and see how they feel about it, in which case we could have sat down and had a discussion about it, and maybe we would have said, okay, 4 years. But as Phil says, we were
May
blindsided.
I say something? When we would talk about this, not in the past meeting, but the previous meeting, when this was forwarded to the pension board, we forwarded the chief's request for a 2-year extension. We didn't talk about 6 months or 4. And my understanding was when I came on this committee, that this committee acted autonomously. Now, when we met again, the commission was at odds as to how we should move forward. So a vote was held at that meeting, and it wasn't a majority, it was 3 to 2.
That is a
That was-
majority.
Well, I understand, sorry, I stand
That
corrected.
is a
Hey,
majority.
That wasn't unanimous.
It wasn't unanimous, I thought.
This is an autonomous board, and
Yeah. And that was my question.
I don't go back to the Board of Finance and ask for permission about how I'm supposed to act as a trustee for the police pension.
No, but on the other hand, you cannot make a decision on the police department's budget for the year without the approval of your Board of Finance. This is police commission business, and our
But this
bylaws
isn't
say.
in the police
This is
department's
police
budget.
commission
I
business.
think-
No,
This
no,
is
what I'm
pension
saying is
business.
that's right, but the commission shall always act as a body, not as an individual, and so that was why Ed had a responsibility to
This
come back.
isn't the
I
police
wasn't
commission,
representing
Peggy.
the commission.
He cannot act,
Sure
our
he can.
bylaws say.
He is not
no
acting
com-
as a police
He's
commissioner,
acting
he's
as a-
acting as a
He's
member
acting
of the
as a
pension
No,
committee.
he's acting as a commissioner.
So
No,
we
he's
should
not.
have
He's
that
acting as
discussion on the commission.
Member of the pension committee.
The only reason
Look.
he's on the convention committee is because
Peg-
he is the chairman of the board of
Peg's-
police commissioners.
Peg's point said another way, at least the way I think about it, is that whatever you guys decide, we'll say you're autonomous. I have no way to say that you're not, but we have to live with the results of this.
What do you mean live with the results of it? Explain that to me.
Well, whatever you decide, if we're managing the overall operation of the police department, which is principally its personnel, we have to live with and make adjustments.
They're either
depending on
plan for 3 years or 4.
when people come and go, and what the morale of the department ultimately is as a result of whatever actions are taken. And this is a principal one here. I mean, this one is probably at the top of their minds.
Well, I agree with you. I think that
That's all I'm saying.
any way you slice it or cut it, you guys are aware that he's coming up on 25 years. You're aware that 2 of the majors,
Yeah.
what is Mr.
One's at
Carbone, what is?
22 and one's 23, I
So,
think.
Yeah,
I mean,
Congress will put in a couple of
You know,
years.
you are the ones who need a plan for a search committee, and, yeah, you're right. You need
No
to start
question.
looking for another chief, and you need to start
No
looking for
question.
other majors. And it's gonna cost money.
No doubt.
You know, so I mean, I look at this as, one, we're stopping the accrual on him being able to put more time in for overall cost of the town in the long run.
Right.
It gives an opportunity for planning. You know, I think 4 is better than 3, because we don't know what the police commission is gonna look like after next November, because it's a moving door. And the only information that we have is, basically what the plan says and what the numbers are. And we know what our arc is.
Well, here's the other thing, I'm glad you kind of brought that area
Okay.
up. Nobody ever really tried to sell this thing to us. And so,
We don't have to.
We don't have.
no, I know, or I think I know. But
This shouldn't affect how you guys run the police department.
there's benefits to this, I can see the benefits to doing this, what you're proposing to do here. But when all of a sudden it comes up in one of our meetings, there was no proponent of it who could adequately And so what happens? You get a reaction against
I
it.
understand.
That's all.
No, I
I mean,
get
there's
that.
a lot of factors.
I'm trying to show some reason.
No,
If someone had come to one of our meetings, if
I was never asked, I could have, if I knew it was gonna be discussed, I could have come explain how it does save money.
we'd like to do 4 years instead of 3 years,
Yeah.
and explain all the
So-
financial benefits, we probably all.
And you know how Rosemary was, Peg?
Oh, yeah,
It wasn't gonna save the town money, she would never been on board with it.
well, it was hard enough prying it out of her. I had this correspondence back and forth, and every week I had
Yeah, I
a
know.
new one, and that she
I
would
know.
give me another question to ask her,
I know.
but, see, so my point is not so much the 4 years, it's the process that led up to it.
I understand.
That
Process.
had you come to
And
us
I think
and
that's an
said,
internal commission
said
issue.
3 years instead
And I'm
of
more
4
on
years
the
instead
side
of
of the
3 years,
finance and
and
how
explaining
we
how it would
move
save
the
the town money.
managers
It probably would have been
forward
done
and
if we
ultimately
approved 4
out.
years,
Right.
and you go back and do it.
So,
And you remember, Phil, he
You
gets
see the
3% a year as an administrator,
yeah,
rule. And then when they retire, cost of living is 3% a year.
I know.
Votes to figure that out.
Either way you cut it,
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
an
think we have
expense
to
that
have an
is.
executive
So you're gonna get 3% on a lower number to begin with, as a cost
I
of
can
living.
see the
increase.
benefits.
You know what I mean? And you're freezing them and just reducing the town's contribution for that individual at that point.
Right.
They're gonna get their pension anyway, so.
Well, that's my point. We had two majors leave, right at 25 years, first it was Jackie Welch and it was Fitzy. They left, they were making 90 grand a year as a major. So they left, they went and they got a job, which has nothing to do with this, they got a job outside of the department, and they were collecting their pension, 60, 70 grand a year, I think 60
Yeah.
change, right?
And one of them, they
filled
filled that RV
And we
payments.
filled that position anyway, at the $85,000 or $90,000 a year, so, you know, you're still spending the money regardless.
I understand that.
You know, the circle of life expands and the drugs are good, the medications are good, and these folks live into their 80s and 90s. You're looking at projections of, you know, $1.5 million, $2 million.
There's benefits that
We
we're.
just
That's an
we had a
appreciable
retirement on a disability
Our operation.
about a year
We
ago.
understand that, but
And
can
it
you
took a
see
lump-
how
the
if they
individual
just
took a lump
come
sum,
back to- if you-
which was
if you
crazy,
come back
because
to
if
the
you played it
commission
out
and
over
explain
its
this,
life
because
expectancy,
we're
she
not
would
the
have a
same
lot
as
more
all the
money.
other boards and
Yeah.
commissions, we're more like the board of.
But we were happy to give her a lump
We have
sum,
our
it saved
own-
us money.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
no, the-
statutes and everything else that regulate us.
The benefits were not well understood in the commission.
It was never explained to us.
I can understand how it's a retention program, but I say, well, it's a retention program for a good administrator. Gee, aren't you gonna retain a bad administrator?
Well, there was an issue there too, and then there was an issue with another.
However, there's a date certain when they're leaving.
That's,
But it's incumbent upon the commission to manage.
And if, quite frankly, if this was in place years ago, Phil, that individual that left, that other individual would have never made it to 37 and a half plus years.
Well, also with the other.
And we wouldn't have to go through the angst we went through just
Well, the
to,
out for the other individual though was that if he had 2 successive years of poor,
I know, but we had to get to that point to get there.
and he got to that point where he had 2 years of poor evaluations. And so.
And he got a job at state.
I went to heaven, huh?
Yeah.
So we, as a commission,
Well, yeah.
as a commission, we have to have a review process for the eventuality that we have somebody that we would like to leave.
that process, you know, not telling you how to do your business needs to
Well,
start.
Yeah.
No, it
I
worked
totally
a lot.
agree with you.
Yeah.
We're in
Oh,
agreement.
absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I had a conversation with the chief about this,
We
and,
have to review people.
you know, he's concerned about it.
And as a matter of fact, right now, we're back to where, I mean, when I first came on the commission, this is my 8th year now. The chief did evaluations of the majors and the administrative assistant, and the chairman did the evaluation of the chief, which we then all reviewed.
Right.
I haven't seen any
I remember
evaluations
those days.
since Todd.
Well, we're gonna do it.
And he's supposed to be doing
Enough said.
evaluations. and-
Actually, Joe stopped it.
You want to
That's
like
how
that?
they-
No, we had Joe did evaluations only until he left.
We have to
Every year.
cover the other side of the equation.
Now, one of the issues, or one of the things to be recognized here too, is there's nothing stopping the chief from declaring at 3 months instead of 6 months, and/or
Oh,
leaving at 3 years instead of 4 years.
It's only a
we
maximum.
We understand that.
So,
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to extend the election period for the chief to 120 days on the drop plan.
what happened in 6 months?
Is
That is
120 days or 6 months, rough, round number.
180.
I mean,
180.
Right, 180.
that's the-
Something changed on the.
Mary could read my writing.
Because that would
Thank
keep-
you.
that would keep it in 2
Yeah.
months.
Motion to extend the election period to 180 days retroactive to December 13th, and the allowable length of service before he has to leave employment to 4 years.
Have a second on it? I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Now, do we have to do a motion on the major's length of service?
This is a
of 5
25
years?
year.
Yeah, because that was not a legit, you can't have a vote on something if you don't have an agenda posted.
No, we have to vote on that.
So you have to do that one over again, so they have that potential.
Right, amended plan to,
Make a motion to amend the contracts for the majors to the length of service, that adds to the length of service of 5 years additional to a max of 25 years if his or her position is eliminated prior to the major reaching 25 years of service.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.